Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to York City, where we have been given what the media have described as an easy group of Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund and Real Betis. Easy group my arse. That is a group of death if you've ever seen one. I do feel slightly sorry for Real Betis here, but they're a handy side of their own regard, so I suspect they might be able to hold their own in their home games at the very least. But you look at the other groups, yeah, we have got the short end of the stick here. We have got the toughest group possible. Largely led by the fact the first seeds were as follows. Ourselves, York, Champions League winners, Premier League winners. That's fine. Group B's, Porto, Portuguese League winners. That's the thing. We know about that one. Pretty much always Porto or Benfica, one of those two. Real Madrid were the first seed for Group C. That's fine. The Liga winners. Past Champions League winners. We know how good they are. Group D, Lyon. We knew that one though. We knew that one from checking out Strasbourg. We knew they won Ligue 1 last year. Strasbourg, of course, the first seed for Group G for winning the Europa League. Group E's first seed, Ajax. I think they just get there by virtue of winning the Dutch League, and the Dutch League is like the 7th highest rated league. I think they just get that for that. It's basically the top 7 league winners and then the Europa League winners, which is usually, of course, a team from the big 5 nations, a team that isn't Strasbourg, basically. Group F. Group F's first seed is Stuttgart. They won the Bundesliga, and Group H's first seed was Napoli. They won Serie A. So just to recap, the league winners of the top 5 nations, York, Real Madrid, Lyon, Stuttgart, Napoli. What a year Europe had last year, without me even realising. Now on to some sad news. I left this out of the transfer business yesterday because I wanted to focus on the future. I wanted you to be excited for the players that we brought in. I didn't want to dampen the mood on that one. But for that reason, I omitted the most important out player of the year, and that is the free transfer for Callum Nassel, who sadly hasn't got a club. I was kind of hoping at this point that he would have found a club. It's after all the transfer windows have shut, but no, he hasn't. And it'd be very, very sad if he just straight up retires at this point. He's only 32, could play for a couple of years, although physically, I'm worried by those physicals at this point. It's not great, but he always played above his level. Of course, he was sensational in the championship. Now, after he left, I thought this would be the only time I would see his face again. Something happened last week. I was sent a video on Twitter by someone. Well, let's just play it, actually.
The amazing Charlie, this is for you. We've got Callum Nassel here. Here we go. Callum Nassel, York City legend. City.
Yeah, so I got sent a video of, well, Callum Nassel, as I found out, is actually pronounced now after 14 seasons of him being at the club. Callum Nassel is how it's meant to be pronounced. Frankly, when it was sent to me, I was lost for words. It's absolutely ridiculous, but apparently he's seen the testimonial match and loved it. I probably feel like it was actually a little bit weird for him. Yeah, so that was fun. York City legend Callum Nassel watches the videos. And I'll be honest, it's not an easy thing just to move straight on from that, but I will have to because get you caught up on the matches in between. 5-2 Sheffield United, fun. 1-1 Man United, irritating. There's a sending off there. 2-0 against Tottenham, efficient. They had like 5 shots in the entire game. We had 20 plus. And Southampton, 4-2. Fun again. Slightly irritating. They scored 2 in 2 minutes. But we did take control of that one in the end. A little bit of rotation going on in some of these games, namely the Southampton one. All that means is we are unbeaten towards the top of the table. Same record as Arsenal directly behind us. Man City 5 from 5. That's the league game that's coming up shortly. Leeds also unbeaten. 3 wins, 2 draws, although they play on Friday. We will know if that's still unbeaten by the time we play Man City. But today's match is against Real Betis, actually. They're the first ones up. It's a little bit irritating. I would have liked one of the other bigger boys, maybe. But at the same time, you can see there, we're regarded as quite high favourites. It does give me a chance to maybe play with a few players that you wouldn't probably see in all the big matches that we're going to be bringing this year. My intention is to bring you all the big 6 at least once this year. And I think the lineup I will go with is as follows. Kantar is a smidge tired. We'll put Yurchenko on first. We're going to stick with the 4-2-4, what it's listed as on here. But by virtue of a couple of people being quite tired after the international break, which just happened, does mean a couple of first teamers actually stepped back into the side today. Just remember, Godoy didn't start the last match, so he can start this one. But Christian's going to be in goal, Saxton, Morena, Azata and Shaw at the back line, Vidarson and Bellingham in the middle. I switched that to a box-to-box, by the way. Realised Mazzala probably wasn't helping at this point. Having a person in there drifting wide is not helpful defensively. We need those 2 midfielders to stay a little bit more central. Ramirez and Yurchenko, Godoy and Dahl. I'm going to give him a run out up front. Can't play him from England. He has to declare for Norway at this point. Well, he hasn't declared for Norway. He hasn't played for them, but he's announced his intentions to play for Norway. So I just have to wait for those intentions to end so I can maybe persuade him back into England. I don't know why I'm caring. It's not as if there's going to be another England thing during this final season, but if I do continue afterwards, that would be helpful if we had this guy. I shook things up a little bit in England after that Euros, of course. Declan Rice dropped. Max Aarons, of course, dropped for Brian Irvine coming back from injury. Changed all the captains as well as a result. People weren't happy about that one. So I felt like yesterday ended up being a little bit chatty in the end. It was quite a long video for what was essentially just talking about a few players. And they've got a player called Biggeringle. I love that. But yeah, it was essentially just a few transfers and one match. It ended up being over 20 minutes long, that video. I feel like I ended up getting a little bit chatty. It's almost as if subconsciously I wanted that to last as long as possible this final season. I was going to say I'll try to keep the commentary just to the highlights right now, but there aren't any. Have they got Trincao on the bench? They do. He is incredibly average on this save. I'm still internally laughing at the fact they've got a goalkeeper called Bigger. Saxton. Godoy. I would laugh if he's quite short. 6 foot. That's acceptable. Sven Bigger. What's his one-on-ones? Ironically, his one-on-ones are his highest stat. You know, the one-time commentators always say, always made himself big. One-on-ones being the best stats of a goalkeeper called Bigger. You can't write it better than that. Godoy, that's a bizarre save, how he's ended up going over there, but it's a good save nonetheless. There we are, he went big there. Now, I'm making little jokes about Sven Bigger here, and we've not scored. Somehow we've had 8 shots saved and their goalkeeper's on a 6.9. We've hit the post again. That's 2 posts. 2 posts, 3 clear-cut chances, and it's still 0-0. 3 half chances as well on top of that. That's gone over. I've told them to start aiming near post as well, which is where Zarta's located. For some reason, that instruction had drifted off the corner pieces. Don't know why. Godoy's on a 6.3. Godoy's the one on a 6.3. He's been weirdly average this year. I don't know what's up with him. I genuinely don't know what's up with Gabriel Godoy this year. I said I wasn't going to get chatty, but you look at it. First game, yeah, Aston Villa, fantastic. The Community Shield, which I completely forgot to mention, we lost it on penalties, 2-2 full time. But last 4 games, what is this? What is this, Gabriel? I presume he's meant to be pronounced Gabriel because he's from a country that pronounces it that way? Might be Gabriel, I don't know. But I can't live with that. Do you prefer to be on the right? Well, we'll stop you over then. I thought I had Carpentier on the bench. Oh, whoops. Anyone else playing badly? No, not really. Like, the team isn't playing terribly, just very average. Godoy's another one of those ones that's very much in the mould of Nathan Watson, where they just kick it straight at the goalkeeper every time. Saxton, thank you. Slightly worried he was just going to walk that into his own net there. Okay, Yachenko's suddenly just become rubbish. Cantoro on, and I'm hovering over Vidal. Screw it, we're doing it. Apparently I can't do another shout just yet. Cantoro's on the corner. That's pumped clear, and I think, yeah, they'll get to it first, but Vidal's just decided, well, he's just run through him, and somehow the ball's fallen to Trincao as a result, though. Bellingham gets that ball. Perfectly timed slide tackle from behind, apparently. How Real Betis... No offence to Real Betis, but how are we having trouble with this, lads? We were so comfortable against Tottenham. And yes, I know I started Fabian Dahl, but that was really and Yachenko, but they're still very good players. Oh, for God's sake, Moena. £99 million for this? No, in fairness, Moena's been one of the best players over the first 5 games. Right, how have we managed that? More importantly, how has their goalkeeper not hit a 7? I mean, I know what's about to happen. We're just probably about to annihilate PSG and Dortmund. 0-0. Gabriel Heinze is Argentina manager. I kind of love that, really. Now just a small matter of unbeaten Manchester City. Just a very brief note on the idea of playing the top 6 all this year. March onwards, we play all 6 of them. 6 of the last 10 games are Big 6 teams. Obviously, Tottenham had a torrid year last year and technically don't count. Still Big 6 on the preview. Although of course that's technically 7 now because we're in that lot. Carabao Cup is against Shrewsbury, by the way, so nice chance for some young lads to have a go out there. Thank you for warning me about Curvo. I would never have guessed he was a brilliant player. 7 goals, 5 assists in the first 6 games. I mean, yes, he's bloody unreal. Apparently he's as good as Thomas Cantoro. I mean, I love Cantoro. I mean, the yellow's in different places, so it's a little bit hard to follow. Now, we are at home. The more defensive formation is reserved for away matches. I'm Sergey. I would never really thought of trying to develop a partnership between my 2 central defenders. Sometimes you wonder what you're paying your staff for. So we are the early kick-off. Leeds did maintain their unbeaten start, only a draw though. Looks like they have a couple of problems as well, injuries and suspensions. Now Moena took a slight knock, but he is fine. It's a tight calf though, which is... I don't like that. I'll leave him on the bench. So the line for Man City will stay with the formation: Christian, Kovalev, Azarto, Rick, Fiore, Vidal, Seri, Carpentier and Cantoro, Godoy and Gonzalez. Now Carpentier and Gonzalez in particular, the two highlights of the year so far. Carpentier, we can see there, 8.18 for the season. He's having a lovely time. Oh look, they're playing Adam Wright out of position again. The AI's been bamboozled here. With Tipple's injury, who I suspect would be up front otherwise, they're being bamboozled by Adam Wright. We've been through this with the England situation. He's not a striker. He does have decent composure though, mind. But yeah, the striking ones, you'd argue you want them better on an actual striker. Like those striking stats are more mid-table, low-table striker. And ironically, looks for pass rather than attempts to score. Slightly problematic on your striker. He's going to score now, isn't he? And perhaps rather helpfully, losing in the Community Shield, something that doesn't really matter, has given us the opportunity to say, let's get revenge, which is always a fine thing to fire the team up in a team talk. Now, Manchester City are a team full of players I have trouble pronouncing. Felix coming forward now. Still Felix. That's well wide. What a highlight. But yeah, they're left back, which I'm going to go with Magalhaes. Not sure. Actually, Gonzalez. Dominic Szoboszlai, I can say perfectly fine because I had him at Southampton. So I have practice there. And their right back, which I can read as Aladima. My brain just always wants to say Altadima. Don't know why, just keeps adding a T into it. They are playing cautiously, which is a little odd. I'm going to go a little less aggressive. Although Felix might be able... good save by Christian. Best goal in the league. Still conceded 2 against Sheffield United and Southampton. Didn't concede against Tottenham and the best striker in the league apparently, but Sheffield United and Southampton. Yeah, sure, put 2 past us. Gonzalez has gathered the ball here. I don't know if this is actually going to continue as a highlight. I don't think it is. But we have got a free kick here, which is either triggering a new highlight or just continuing this one. Gonzalez is clean through here. Defensively, that was absolutely confusing. The two strikers seems to be bamboozling defences somewhat, I found. Now, I don't think teams end up trying to counteract what they know about you. I don't know how well the AI works on that front. But so far, at the very least, it does seem like teams are set up to try and defend against one striker. And we've got 2 now. Oh my God, what's happened there? It's an own goal. It's counted as an own goal. Absolute scenes at the York Community Stadium right now. I'm wearing the shirt. It was going to happen. Godoy doesn't... Yeah, it's... I think I'll just move on from that one and not let Tanoko... I say every time I play him, but there's a player I wanted to buy a very long time ago. Ended up going to big clubs and I never stood a chance. Perhaps he plays for me after all. Redarton goes close. We've got Seri on a 6.3. I mean, weirdly... Oh, he's just gone up again, but for a moment there, the team's best players were both playing the worst. Why is Felix on a 6.1? What's he done to do that? They've got a player who scored an own goal and he's on a 6.9. What's up with the ratings in this game? Godoy's going to go out right and we're going to play 4 strikers, just because that's the personnel we've got right now. Cantoro's on a 6.3. I can't allow that. See, this is why I trained 2 of my strikers to play those wide roles. Igor's on. I love Igor. I just don't know why. Just the fact he's called Igor. That's gone across. Carpentier's not scored. Harvey, not there. You can see what happens when the fullbacks are overlapping. All 4 of those players are in the box. And it just causes absolute carnage, normally. Seri still on 6.5. Grimes comes on, even though in my heart of hearts I want to bring Bellingham on. I just know Grimes is slightly better, even if he's being a moody cow. Rick deals with... I kind of forgot that we're not playing Moena still. Harvey to Seri. I mean, it's not like Rick is bad, in fairness. Gonzalez is clean through here. That's a lovely ball through, straight at the goalkeeper. Have you been taking tips off Godoy, Jonathan? He's on a 6.1. It's 3 minutes to go. Ramirez comes on for Jonathan. Carpentier goes up front for the last few seconds. I just knew there'd be questions in the interview afterwards if I didn't take him off. Rick goes close. And that was the last thing of the game. Vidalson's 100th league appearance for York. Godoy's 150th career league appearance. Gonzalez is 175th. Oh no. That was a landmark for Tanoko there. 125 league games. Happy 125th game. My angel in disguise, technically. Tell you what, Peru got a decent defence, haven't they? They've got Tanoko and Castillo. Doesn't like big games, though. Neither of them are the captain, though. Alright, that's the other centre-back. Decent striker, though. Weirdly slow for a 24-year-old, but decent. Surprised he's not been tapped up by someone yet, actually. We are 18 unbeaten in the league, going back to February. The second question of that press conference just dawned on me how ironic it was. After I went past it, it asked me about York score a lot of their goals in the early stages of each half. I answered with the one that says, we start on the front foot each half and, other teams start a bit sluggishly. It was no goal. It was no goal. Nothing to do with how quick we start, really. And Now, for the next episode, we are in a bit of a pickle because that run-in at the end does cause a bit of a problem. Because not only is it the top 6, the final York-Leeds derby's in the middle of all that as well. So realistically, the last 4 games look very enticing. They're probably going to be 2 episodes at the end of this season. What seems sensible right now is to do this Arsenal game with the PSG game, because I don't know if that Arsenal game at the end is going to factor, because Leeds are sandwiched between Arsenal and Chelsea at the end as well. And Chelsea are next to the other Betis game, which I'm not going to cover. So I think the sensible thing to do is Arsenal and PSG. I'll see you for that. Until then, ta-ra.